My father saved one single voicemail on his phone for 19 years, refusing to upgrade devices specifically because he couldn't figure out how to transfer it without risking permanent deletion. When he died, I finally worked up the courage to play it, expecting to hear his own mother's voice one last time. Instead, I heard my own voice as a 5-year-old, saying words I have absolutely no memory of ever speaking. "Daddy, don't go with the bad man," 5-year-old me whispered urgently into what must have been his old flip phone, voice trembling with genuine fear rather than typical childhood imagination. He said, "Don't tell mommy." The message ended abruptly there, cut off mid-recording, 19 years of silence surrounding 6 seconds of audio I couldn't consciously remember creating whatsoever. I called my mother immediately, hands shaking so violently I could barely hold my phone steady enough to actually play the recording aloud for her over speaker. Her silence stretched uncomfortably long before she finally admitted something I genuinely never once suspected throughout my entire 24 years of believing I understood my own family's straightforward, unremarkable history completely. "You disappeared for 6 hours when you were 5, she said quietly, voice cracking slightly. "We told you it was a bad dream afterward because the police said confronting it directly might traumatize you further at such a young age. 6 missing hours. Nobody apparently had ever fully explained where I'd actually been, or who exactly this bad man mentioned repeatedly in my own forgotten recording was. My father, it turned out, had received this frantic voicemail from a neighbor's landline while frantically searching our neighborhood himself, found me wandering 3 streets away 20 minutes later, and made an active decision alongside my mother to never discuss the incident again, once I'd apparently already forgotten it completely within just a few short days afterward. "Why would you hide something like that?" I asked, genuinely struggling to process discovering a suppressed childhood trauma I hadn't even known existed until literally this exact conversation happened decades later. She explained the original police report had actually named a suspect, a neighbor who'd since moved away entirely, and my parents had simply wanted to protect my remaining childhood completely. I requested the original police report through public records the following week, waiting 9 agonizing days for confirmation that yes, an investigation had genuinely occurred, though it had ultimately closed without formal charges due to insufficient evidence beyond one traumatized 5-year-old's confused, inconsistent, understandably unreliable initial statements given at the actual time. The suspect's name meant absolutely nothing to me now, decades removed from whatever specific memory I'd apparently suppressed successfully enough that even hearing my own frightened voice failed to trigger any genuine recollection whatsoever of those 6 completely missing hours from my actual early childhood. Some protections apparently work exactly as intended, for better or considerably worse. I found a therapist specializing specifically in childhood trauma recovery, uncertain whether actively pursuing buried memories would help or genuinely harm me at this particular point so many years removed from the actual original incident itself. She gently explained that not every suppressed memory necessarily needs full conscious recovery in order to actually heal completely and permanently. I decided ultimately to leave those 6 specific hours buried exactly where they'd apparently remained safely for 19 entire years already, choosing instead to focus energy on genuinely understanding and appreciating my parents' difficult, complicated decision made during an obviously terrifying situation neither of them had ever actually wanted or expected to personally navigate at all. I still have that voicemail saved now, transferred carefully across 3 different phones since then, though I haven't personally listened to it again since that very first devastating time. My father protected me even in death, apparently, by simply never explaining what he'd actually chosen to keep secret. If you discovered a suppressed childhood memory like this, would you actively dig deeper for answers, or leave it buried like I did? Comment dig deeper, or leave it below, and subscribe for more true family secret stories.